Basically, the Ninth Exchange, we developed a technology and a platform that allows people to not only buy and resell anything digital, but allows them to become their own publishers. We've created a technology that solves the piracy and the royalty problems that are out there with digital content. People can actually buy something on our site, use it, resell it, get their money back, and we make sure the content creator gets paid their royalties.
You're obviously going an investor route of funding.
Right.
Okay? And so describe that process to us a little bit.
It's the most humbling, frustrating, exciting process as far as I'm concerned in the startup world. This is my third internet company. I raised about 10, 12 years ago, I raised about $1 million. I actually got a huge investment from Apple Computer back when they were still struggling. And then in 2000, I raised about $4 million of venture capital. And there was pluses and minuses to that kind of funding. When we started the Ninth Exchange, we initially thought we would go out and seek venture capital. The more I went back and looked at my experiences and what we really needed, we went the friends and family route. I invested, put up my house, like most founders, put up my house and everything that I had, and a lot of the people in the company did that. Then you had to do the toughest thing you'll ever do. You have to do it, doesn't matter who you are. You have to knock on your neighbor's door, and you have to go to your family reunion and at Christmas dinner, sit around and look at your uncle and your aunt and say, hey, do you have any extra cash? I'm starting this business. And that's probably the most difficult thing to do in a startup, but I know very few startups that haven't had to go to friends and family and raise money. It's different when they're strangers, because these are people, if you lose their money, they're going to remember it for the rest of your life.
And you're connected to them.
You're connected to them, and they know how to get back at you. But we found that to be very effective. It depends on your family situation. We've had family and friends initially they can only afford to put in $500, and some that put in $50,000. It really depended on their situation. But as an entrepreneur in a startup, the number one thing is you have to put in your own money, because your friends and family won't put in money if you're not putting in money.
Right. How do you approach an angel investor? Angels are sort of that mysterious investor group that are sort of out there. How do you find them? How do you approach them?
This isn't going to be popular with a lot of people. I've, like I said, raised money for 15 years. Virtually every angel network outside of Silicon Valley is a group of people, primarily men, that want to get together and talk about investing, and very rarely do. In Michigan, there's 3 or 4 formal groups, and I don't think, as far as I know, in the past year they've invested in 10 deals. They meet every quarter, they talk great games, we've dealt with every one of them, and they very rarely invest in technology companies. In Michigan especially, they're still looking for brick and mortar manufacturing. As much as that's going down to Michigan, they're comfortable with that. So angels, you're not going to find in these organized groups. What you will find, if you do, I do encourage people to approach those groups and go to some of the meetings, and then you'll find an individual there that out of the 25 that show up that maybe has an interest. That's probably the least effective way, but that's worked once or twice for us. The biggest investor I ever found, I happened to meet at a Starbucks. He saw me working on something, we started chatting, turned out he was a fund manager, and that's how that happens. It's serendipitous sometimes.
Give us an idea, if you can. It sounds like you're talking about a diverse group. What are the criteria that these individuals are using to decide whether to invest or not?
Obviously, every single person has different criteria. We've got a couple of people that have net worths, I would say, in the tens of millions of dollars. We've got some that are retired auto workers that are, saved a little bit of money. I think ultimately they all want to make a lot of money. They've all seen the internet startup story where people have invested, $10,000 and the company is sold for 400 times that.